What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to some very recent news. Apparently, Canada just chose Sweden over the United States for some kind of huge military defense deal. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, you guys should choose whoever you want and choose what's best for you. It's just that, you know, supplying military equipment and stuff like that is supposed to be our thing. That's something that here in the United States we take a lot of pride in. So, honestly, this is kind of a disaster for us. And so, today I really want to learn more about this and why Canada decided to go with Sweden over the United States for this military deal. So, let's take a look.
Let's start with this announcement from the PM that we will be entering formal negotiations with Saab as the preferred supplier of Canada's future, enabled by Saab's Global Eye. This is a surveillance system. Saab has not signed a contract yet.
So, Saab is like a company, a military contractor, manufacturer is Swedish. So, Canada has entered negotiations to purchase this huge, I think it's like billions of dollars in I want to say they said like tracking or radar or that kind of thing for jets, and it's a surveillance system of some sort, which is a really big deal. And I mean, I can't help but like speculate on a couple things about why Canada would go with Sweden over us, the US. Like, as good as we like to think we are at that kind of thing, maybe Sweden's system is just better. Maybe Canada just doesn't really want to go with the American system. Like, or maybe it's a combination of both. That would honestly make sense to me. So, really, this is like, what a disaster. This is like just a perfect example of why you don't go insane and start doing the things that Donald Trump, our president, our government, our country has been doing to Canada for over a year now. These are the natural repercussions. Why would, when I think about it, why would Canada want to buy anything, like, especially something this important to Canada's national security? Why would you want to put that in our hands? Like, give us any level of control? Or Canada is trying to lower its reliance on the US. So I guess, unfortunately, like, this is going to make a lot of Americans and our government and our military companies very, very, very mad. But if you think about it for 2 seconds, it makes complete sense.
We're going to work with Canadian authorities. But as has been pointed out, we're not looking towards Boeing. We're talking to Saab. Let's begin there. Your thoughts on this from the Prime Minister this morning?
Oh, they were thinking about going with Boeing in the U.S., but they went with Saab, the Swedish company.
Morning.
Well, there are several signals involved in that announcement. One is that we are telling the Americans, keep your stuff. We've been through enough. We're finding.
Yeah. Who is this guy? Tom Mulcair? Anyway, spot on, I would say. Yeah, that's like, that pretty much does it. For me, that's enough reassurance to see it's like, yeah, a big part of this is like, no, we don't want your stuff, America. We don't want your stuff. Like, it's just so frustrating to think about, because if you go way back to the beginning of all this, which really started with the election of Donald Trump for the second time, like a year and a half ago, starting the tariffs, the trade wars, the animosity, the threats towards Canada, the insults, the 51st state insults. Um, Donald Trump was trying to assure us, the American people, that it's all for the best. It's all in the interest of the United States. It's all going to help us, especially the tariffs, which now, a year later, are a certified disaster. Um, that's overall, that's why it's so incredibly frustrating from an American point of view. We were promised this was all going to be so wonderful for us, even though I think a lot of us, myself included, pretty quickly realized none of this made any sense. And now, not only is this not good for us, our trade has been ruined, our economy is going down, inflation is up, we're at war with Iran, um, and our reputation, perhaps most of all, something that's not easy to change. And we've done that. We have done it. We've made it exponentially worse. It's not easy to change your reputation. And I think we've kind of ruined it. That's what we accomplished. So, yeah, anyway, this was all supposed to be so great for the United States, and it's just like, look at us now. We can't even like get a military defense contract with Canada. Like, we can't even do that. That's supposed to be like one of our specialties. No one even wants to buy that from us. So, the more I think about this, the more it feels like this is so bad. This is like a sign of things to come, because it's like we need people to purchase contracts and deals with the US for us to continue like prospering as a country. And is this a sign of what's to come? People are just like, no, why would I go with that one? I'll go with the Swedish one. It's really, really good. It's just as good. Yeah, so it's frustrating from my point of view. I can only imagine how frustrating it is from a Canadian point of view. But that's why this is your response to that. And it makes sense.
Other partners around the world for trade generally, and it's going to include the billions upon billions that we're going to be spending on defense. We're going to be looking for other partners. There's something advantageous for Canada here, but of course, because the platform is a model of the Bombardier business jet, the long-range one, the 6500, and it's win-win. I mean, it creates jobs here in Canada. It builds up our partnership with Saab. On that last point, there was a question right at the end, and Mr. Carney demurred. He just said, well, I'm not going to talk about that procurement issue right now. But it really does leave open the question whether or not Canada is going to be making a decision to acquire a big chunk of Saab fighter jets instead of going through with the rest of the American jets, the F-35s that we've been talking about.
Oh my God, it just keeps going. It just keeps getting worse. Like, what can you... I would love to know what the U.S. government is thinking right now, like with this kind of news. Sadly, you have to think it's just denial. I mean, part of what got us into this whole situation was ego. This idea from like Donald Trump and his administration that's like, we don't need Canada. Screw them. They won't let us take you over. Forget it. Tariffs. We don't need China. We don't need Europe. Forget it. It's like, what? Yeah, you must sound really cool. You must sound really powerful and mighty saying all that. But you do need those things. At least one of those things. There's no one even left. After, like, okay, there's other places in the world, I suppose, but those are our biggest trading partners, like, statistically, Europe, Canada, China. Why are we pissing everyone off? Why? What kind of strategy is this? Like, I think anybody with any common sense could have told you this reaction from Canada, choosing to not do military deals with the US anymore. Now it includes fighter jets on top of the surveillance system. I think anyone with half a brain would have told you, like, yeah, America, if you do all that stuff, like, I don't think they're going to want to do business with you. And then we were just like, yes, they will. Yes, they will. Because they need us. It's like, do you? Maybe there was a time where, like, enough international trade agreements and manufacturing processes were so intertwined with us that there was some truth to that. But it's like many countries, and I think Canada is kind of leading the way on this, are unwinding themselves from the United States. So this idea that everyone needs us, if there was any truth to that at one point, that's quickly going away. And what cards do we have left after that? I don't. It's so bad.
Very expensive jets, high performance, no question about that. But we've been through so much with the Americans. Do we really think that that's the best way to spend our money right now? That's not directly stated by Mr. Carney, but it's implicit in everything that we just heard. So good news.
Oh, so classic, like, politician, like Mark Carney. I actually enjoy, like, some of his speeches and stuff. I think he's good at speaking, and especially when I have to compare it to our leader, Donald Trump. It's like insane comparison. It's refreshing. So, but, you know, as politicians do, he's like, he can't openly state that Canada just doesn't want to do business with the United States because you don't really like us and you don't really trust us. Real is more of what it is. But apparently in his press release or whatever, his questions, Carney pretty much said it without saying it, that it's like, we don't want the American stuff. Like,
for Canada and for Canadians, because it sells a product that we make and helps it become better known around the world. And at the same time, it sends a strong signal to our American colleagues that they can't have it both ways. They can't keep dumping on us and making our lives miserable intentionally, economically, and expect us to just go along with business as usual and deal with them mostly for the procurement of defense assets.
absolutely. Yeah, it's like, I really think that our government really thought, like, Canada has no choice but to do business with us. Like, they'll have to buy our jets and our military surveillance, and they have to. And it's like, do not ever underestimate the power of pissing someone off. Like, in not just in government, but in life. It's like, if you have a grudge against someone, if they piss you off, if they do you dirty, break trust, you don't forget that. And you, like, so it's funny how even on the macro scale with, like, billion-dollar defense agreements, reputation and how you feel about something, like, even emotionally, it matters with these deals. So I don't know if our government thought, like, oh, they must go with us because technically we are geographically strategic for them to choose us, and we have all the correct systems in place, and we'll make a good deal. And doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good the deal is if they don't like us. I think that's maybe something that's missing. Like, that it's sort of common sense, but
I do want to get to the other stuff in just a second, but a quick sidebar to then your point. Is that going to tick off the Americans? We're just weeks away from CUSMA, and now we've got this announcement today that we're moving away.
Well, Mr.
is that gonna tick off? Is that gonna make us mad? Yes, I'm sure it's making people mad, especially, like, Boeing and the U.S. government. But it's like, I think Canada has figured out you can't live your life worrying about making the United States and Donald Trump mad. Yeah, it's no way to live your life. Like, oh, is it gonna make Donald Trump angry if we go with a different distributor? Like, at a certain point, it's like, who cares? Like, you got to live your life and do what's best for you. So, that's, I assume that's pretty much the sentiment. But
Mr. Carney's going to be in New York this week.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to have more to say about that. But at some point, you've got to stand up for your own interests. I think that Mr. Carney has shown a great deal of forbearance
Sure.
in dealing with the Americans. His tone is always subdued. He even scolded mildly Doug Ford when he chose the World Series to put out a strong ad against Trump's policy, saying that wasn't helpful. So we've bent over backwards to try to be good Canadians, gentlemanly about this, and womanly. And the old joke
True.
is that Canadians are so polite, we apologize to ATMs if we make a mistake. That is our reputation, and we've tried to play the game that with the Americans, but it doesn't work.
yeah, I think his analysis, like, this is very refreshing. Like, hearing it so bluntly from a Canadian, it's like, this reaffirms a lot of what I've been thinking. And yeah, that makes sense. You, it's just at the point where we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We thought we were indestructible, invincible, and I'm afraid this is like a sign of what's to come in the future. Because maybe we can afford to miss out on this deal or that deal or that but this is just the beginning. It really could be. So it's extremely concerning for the United States. And Americans should be aware of this, and we should be not upset with Canada or anybody who's doesn't want to do business with us. We need to look at ourselves and be like, why didn't anybody like us? And fix that problem. I believe. So, yeah, this was troubling to hear, but good now to understand the whole situation. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on this situation. Very, very clear example of Canada for something very important, just not wanting to do business with the United States, and life goes on. And it's like, this is like something that America is not used to. Like, we're not getting chosen for things, and the world is moving on without us. And that's how it feels. It's like, hey, wait, you can just do that? Like, what about us? Because we've gone so long feeling like we're so important, like, and that there's no way we can't be picked. So this is a hard reality to face, I think, for a lot of Americans. So if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things that I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.